Netflix, no! Hello, watchers of Netflix. I'm Ashley Beall. I'm the assistant video producer of the Towerlight.
I'm Gabby Slocum, and I'm just along for the ride.
And we're here to present to you the very first episode. We're here to present to you the very first episode of Netflix No, our review series. So Netflix No is a review series where we watch terrible Netflix movies and then tell you guys about them so you don't have to go through the same pain we did.
The first movie we reviewed for Netflix No is movie 43. You've probably seen it in your Netflix, scrolling through. It's like blue with a green lady with like a bikini bottom. It's weird. It's got a lot of famous people in it. Yeah.
By the way, at this point on, there will definitely be spoilers. Duh. Movie 43. We watched it at a friend's house because we heard it was funny. We weren't actually originally going to put it on the series, but you know.
Yeah.
How do you describe movie 43?
Movie 43 is a great movie if you're 12 and still into penis jokes. It uses a lot of really crude humor that could be good if that wasn't the only thing it used.
There were tons and tons of stars in this movie, from like Dennis Quaid to Emma Stone, Chloe Grace Moretz, you know, that the guy that's in that movie I never saw.
Oh, Hugh Jackman.
Oh, not that one. I've seen that one.
Whatever. He's in it.
Yeah, but lots of people are in it, and that's like really exciting because in every scene you're like, I know who that actor is.
But then you get a really deep sense of regret for every single person that starred in this, except Chloe Grace Moretz. Her scene was actually pretty fantastic. And the guy that plays McLovin, he's in her scene.
What I was trying to
and
say,
I don't know his name. But whatever, he's pretty fabulous as well. You go, McLovin.
That's like the only scene I liked, but we'll get back to that.
Right.
Let's kind of just go through. So the premise of the movie is a guy trying to pitch his script idea to a producer guy, yeah, who will be like, yeah, that's a good script, or no, that's an awful script. And it's Dennis Quaid, so in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is just Dennis Quaid pitching a movie, but then apparently it's not. It's actually another character. It's weird.
Yeah.
So the movie doesn't flow very well, except for that scene it cuts into, but basically it's just skit after skit of, like, funny things that aren't really related at all.
Right. So, you would think something like that could have a lot of really great potential. And the first stars we see other than Dennis Quaid in the little skits are Hugh Jackman and
Kate Winslet.
And it's basically your really classic rom-com sort of feel at the beginning. Kate Winslet's being set up on a blind date with Hugh Jackman's character.
Who's super handsome.
Very handsome.
Very rich, I think, and very, he's very professional. He's on the cover of a magazine or something.
Yeah, like
so
GQ
he's supposed to be
or
something
something.
awesome.
So, and she's like, oh, well, there has to be something wrong with him.
Woe is me.
But she gets to the date and figures out, oh, you know, he's actually really great, and he's handsome, and he's cute, and oh my god, he took off his scarf and there were balls on his neck. Literally. Not a joke. Right there.
I think they were going for shock value here, but the fact that the scene seemed to go on for like another 10 minutes just was like too much. At first it was like, wow, that just happened. Okay, that's interesting. And then I kept going and going and going, and I'm like, I am just so uncomfortable watching this.
Yeah. It was really, really awkward. And also, Kate Winslet's the only one that notices this physical feature, because according to Dennis Quaid's character,
Who was writing the script?
It's a metaphor for the flaws we create in people, which would be great if it wasn't balls on his neck. Scene 2?
What was scene 2? Was that the awkward one, the homeschooling one?
Yeah.
We're probably going to end up missing one or two of these just because it's been like a week and a half.
Yeah,
since
sorry.
we watched it.
We'll normally try to do them right after, but
It's whatever. The one with the homeschooling kid. I thought that was a little interesting, and to me it didn't go on too long, but it was still, like, not laugh out loud funny.
Yeah. It made you feel uncomfortable, which can be funny sometimes, but you just kind of had this general uncomfortable feeling for the entirety of it. So,
I think for this movie, like, overall, because between each and every scene, seemed to be lacking, it was, like, a character that grounds you. Because something to me with humor that really works, especially with shock value or something that just like is really uncomfortable or really out there, is one character sitting there questioning it all. Just kind of going, what the hell is wrong with everybody here?
Yep.
But this movie didn't really do that, and I think that's what really took me out of it and really lost me, was that it was just in its own world that nobody even cared.
yeah. I think another problem with the movie, and obvious, this is a rather obvious problem when you think about what the movie is. There were no real transitions from scene to scene, which, I mean, it's a movie of shorts, which makes sense, but it just was very jumpy, and there was no thread connecting everything. I mean, they tried to pull one at the end where they just kind of were like, oh, well, all of this has been a movie of sin. It tried to be very meta and weird.
It was dumb.
It didn't work at all. Like, I was shocked. I was like, oh, well, that's twist. But was it a good twist?
There was the poop scene.
Yeah.
Literally all you can call it.
Yeah. It was
No,
awkward. It was terrible.
It wasn't funny.
This guy proposed to his girlfriend, and she's like, I want you to poop on me. She's the girl in,
Scary movie?
yeah, Scary Movie, the blonde one. Whatever her name is.
Names, actors. We should probably learn that before we start doing more of these. But whatever, you guys know who we're talking
Hey, you're
about.
the EMF major.
An awful EMF major.
But, yeah, we'll leave it at that, and don't watch it. That scene, at least.
Don't watch this movie. It's really awful, because, God, this movie.
So, let's get to the good scene, because there is one very excellent, very well done, very actually funny.
I laughed out loud. I was rooting for characters. I cared about them briefly. It was awesome.
Yep.
And this was the scene with Chloe Grace Moretz, some awkward 12-year-old looking kid, Mick Lovin, and two father adult figures.
Yeah.
I don't know who the actors are, because I think was one of them from Modern Family? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't watch Modern Family.
I do, but I don't remember.
I could just be making that up because I've seen commercials recently. But whatever. This scene was awesome.
Yeah.
Basically, Chloe Grace Moretz making out with some 12-year-old dude because she's like 12 or whatever.
13, 12, whatever.
13, preteens kind of age, awkward years. They got braces getting stuck together or whatever, and all this awkward stuff, and then she gets up, and it's very evident to the audience right away she is having her period.
There's a nice red stain on the couch. It's awkward, and she's going to the bathroom.
And it's awkward, and that's just very real awkwardness that happens all the time. It's not weird awkwardness that doesn't happen all the time.
As ladies,
like
we should know.
balls from your neck. That doesn't really happen to people, like, yeah. So this was something I could relate to.
She gets up, goes to the bathroom, realizes, now this is the first time she's ever had her period, she's never experienced this before, that something is happening, and oh my god, and she's like, oh, I have to go. And then chaos ensues.
The older brother walks in,
Which is McLovin,
and he's just like, oh my god, she's having her period, and he freaks out, kind of like a guy at his age would probably do. He starts looking for anything that will fix her.
He finds sponges and towels.
Sponges and towels, but he's also like I don't remember what he grabs up, like a cucumber or like a racket, pretty much anything. Like, will this work here? I can throw a box of tissues at your face. I don't know.
Chloe Grace Moretz's 12-year-old boyfriend at the time is calling 911 because she is bleeding out of her vagina.
Profusely,
and what do I do?
She is dying.
She's going to bleed to death.
This is actually the second time Chloe Grace Moretz has done like a period scene that I can recall. Cause she did one in Carrie too, because that's very much a Carrie thing. Where she gets her first period in the shower and doesn't know what's happening.
I know, she was in Carrie.
She is Carrie.
Yeah, obviously.
In the remake, yeah, I know. So Chloe Grace Moretz, you go, bringing up that issue.
Yeah.
I like you.
We'd be comfortable with that business.
People should. They really bring up that issue too in that skit of how guys in general, adults, young kids, just aren't comfortable with it. The father figures of both the boyfriend or whatever and Chloe Grace Moretz character, I don't know if she had a name, whatever, they were both just kind of like, ugh, gross periods, and didn't really do anything else but that.
Oh, he's on that one show with the lady. I don't know what it's called. Never mind. That's not.
I don't remember his face.
It's okay. He's Crunk in The Emperor's New Groove. The McLovin and the 12-year-old's father.
He is?
He voices him. Yeah, he is.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Kronk?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Nuh-uh.
He totally is.
No, because the guy that voices Sully voices Kronk.
Then it's the same guy.
No, it's not, because he's big. He was in Roseanne.
We'll look it up and put it in the comments for you.
Yeah, we'll find out. There are people. Or you could tell us, because I'm sure you know more than we do.
But, anywho, Ashley's right. It does really give you the male perspective on that issue. And as a girl, it's very funny, but it's also a little bit disheartening because fathers, especially the father of Chloe Grace Moretz, just doesn't want to deal with it. And I think he is actually the one that says, like, oh, that's disgusting.
I think they all do. I think, like both the father figures say that a couple of times. Or whatever. Just pretty much everyone's like, oh, gross. Whatever.
So, it just goes to show that that's not really something that men are comfortable with or really know how to handle. So
my comment earlier, completely kind of separate, about nobody being grounded in realism, there was one character in one small scene, and that was after we were introduced to the commercial. We went back to the makers of the commercial, and the one female figure's like, boys are sticking their penises into the vagina.
To explain what this commercial is, since we haven't talked about it yet.
That's true.
First off, we'll point out that when we were watching this, I legitimately thought, and I think you legitimately thought for a second, that this was a real commercial, like in the middle of this for some reason. And it was for a product called the iBabe. And it's basically like a large naked woman that you can plug
listen to music.
iPod into and music comes out.
But she feels real and looks real and is life-size, and she's...
However, the slight problem with...
which we found out later.
Horny young men is they like to stick their penises into things that look like women, apparently. And that's where the little air fan is, in that area down there.
So boys' penises are being, like...
mangled.
Pretty much. And the company doesn't seem to want to do anything about it, because, like, why would they spend all this time fixing it? Boys should just know not to put their penises in things.
We shouldn't have to put a warning on it that says, don't fuck our product.
But there was one character in that short scene that was just kind of like, that's what boys will do. Why don't we do anything about this? You guys are all idiots.
And then she was also pointing out the very valid argument that this is an actual safety issue. Also, our product is a naked woman. We really shouldn't even be making this.
I just kept asking how she got a job at that company.
Why she kept her job at that company.
God.
Paying the bills.
True.
So let's move on.
What other scenes were there?
Okay, there's the scene with Halle Berry and what's-his-face. Now, this scene started off with some potential.
Yeah.
I was riding along for a little bit, and they're like on a date. They met online somewhere. And
she's apparently been on tons of blind dates before. It's another blind date, by the way.
Yeah. And they start playing Truth or Dare on their date, and it starts off really funny. Like, Halle Berry dares her date to go pinch some guy's butt that's over at the bar, and that's funny. I'll even argue that when her date dares her to go blow out the candles on a blind child's birthday cake, that's still pretty funny. Like, I can go with that. Not generally my type of humor, but, you know, it's funny and I'm amused.
He's trying to impress her because she seems hardcore. I can see it.
Yeah. But then things escalate.
And they just keep playing Truth or Dare.
Yeah, he gets dared to get a tattoo of a penis on his face.
She gets some kind of breast surgery.
Where they hang down
here. I think he becomes Asian.
He does. He becomes Asian. They get tons of plastic surgery. This is all supposed to happen in a 24-hour period, by the way. And then they end up sleeping together after some, like, I'm not into Asians. Lol, JK.
Come here
and we'll sleep together. I can't let these boobs that hang down to here go to waste. Literally, though, they hung down to here.
It was a little weird.
Yeah. So it started off really funny. It had a lot of potential, and I was on board.
It wasn't super offensive, and it didn't make me feel super uncomfortable. I just kind of didn't care.
Yeah.
And I think that was the problem with that short little skit there.
So
there was the Emma Stone scene with the guy from Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, the guy who plays Wallace Wells.
Yeah. It was interesting. I liked their acting.
They acted really well together. They're in like a grocery store, and a lot of the stuff they say gets heard over the intercom, and they are clearly were in a relationship at one point.
It was weird.
And they're kind of talking about that, and while it gets weird and somewhat weirdly overtly sexual, God, that was so hard to say, weirdly overtly sexual, it's not bad in comparison with the rest of the movie.
It's just
kind of
really. I liked the old people in that movie.
The old people.
The people that were shopping and stuff. They kind of made that scene kind of good. Like, yeah, you go get her, and totally were for it. And it was like, I'll take your shift till 2 a.m. or whatever. And I'm like, why? But okay.
So
you're the only person working at the store, dude.
He runs the store secretly.
It's a lame job. But
were there any other little shorts?
There was the maybe not. There were definitely more. No, the leprechaun one.
Oh,
I hated the leprechaun
that one was
one.
so dumb.
That's the one I keep thinking back to whenever I think about how much I hated this movie. That is literally the scene I think of. So basically, this guy. I don't know why they have this whole scene about, oh, you cheated on...
So appropriate, though, because you're wearing green.
I am wearing green, like a little leprechaun in my red hair. But there was these two friends, and one of them slept with the other one's girlfriend. And apparently that was a thing, but I don't really know why that mattered with the rest of the story. It didn't.
Yeah, it, like, didn't factor in.
It was one character's birthday, so we got him a leprechaun because they're supposed to try to find the pot of gold for his birthday. It's like a present. So they try to get the pot of gold, but the leprechaun had a brother, and everyone's trying to kill each other, and they end up killing the leprechauns. One guy's eye is out, and they're like, oh, wait, I forgot about your other present. It's upstairs, and they find the fairy that gives blowjobs for gold coins, since they got gold coins from the leprechaun.
Yeah.
That was
like his apology gift for, sorry I slept with your girlfriend, here's a blowjob fairy, basically. It was weird. It didn't make sense. Yeah.
I just hated it.
And also, the leprechauns were, like, short and angry and cursing a lot, which, like, just wasn't actually funny.
Yeah, it was...
Like, it was clearly supposed to be funny, and it wasn't.
And I don't think I recognized any actors in that scene.
That was the one guy, he's in a movie.
Cool.
He's blonde. I don't know.
Alright.
I recognized him. You'll recognize it if you see him.
Probably. I can't really recall any other scenes before the fake credits.
Oh, well, we should talk about how they kind of try to tie things up.
Okay.
So.
The meta scene.
The meta scene, yes! So, basically, the guy that Dennis Quaid is pitching this movie to goes to confront his boss? I think it's his boss. And he, like, has the gun from Dennis Quaid and is, like, holding it at his boss and is shouting all this stuff that I didn't care about, so I don't really remember what he said. And then he, like, threatens a security guard and, like, tells his boss to give the security guard a blowjob. And then they're like, okay, cut. And, oh my god, this whole thing has been a movie. And now they're talking about, wait, wasn't this supposed to be a movie of shorts? And...
how about we just cut the scene? It wasn't cut. We had to watch it.
Yeah. So that was really it. They tried to be meta, and I mean, I guess technically it worked.
But it's been done so many times before.
It was
that
just
kind of thing, and it's just so annoying.
Not interesting at all. Like I said, I was mildly shocked. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. But also, it doesn't add anything to the movie for me.
And it didn't shock me that much.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, I guess that can happen. And then there were the credits.
Which you would think would be the end.
We were so excited, but we knew, because we looked at it, and there were 17 minutes left on our Netflix movie, that there had to be something else. And because we're reviewing this for you, we had to watch it.
So, we did what any good person would do and kind of skipped through some of the credits. Up until this final scene.
Why? Netflix, why?
This scene.
It wasn't even that bad compared to the others. It was just, why are you going still? Be done with this movie. I'm tired.
They were beating a dead horse for sure. This was the first and only scene in the movie that included an animated figure of a cat.
And not even like a cute cat. It was a really horrendously ugly cat.
Yeah.
How do you make an animated cat ugly? They achieved.
Yeah. It's
props.
like, it's like this old movie. I think it's called like Felix the Cat. Maybe that's the vibe they were going with, because that's an old animated movie about this cat that like does drugs and like masturbates a lot.
Maybe. I didn't know that existed, but cool.
It exists.
It's this cat, and he has his owner, and he like really likes his owner, but the owner has a girlfriend, and they're making out, and this cat is real freaking jealous of this guy's girlfriend. And so he is out to kill her. Mm-hmm. And she's grounded in reality a little bit. That's like, your cat is insane, it's trying to kill me, but he's like, oh, but my baby cat, I love my cat. And then it's just problems and dumb stuff. And so the cat hits her with a car.
Yeah.
So she takes a shovel at him.
And like beats him with it.
Gets caught by a bunch of kids at a birthday party. Cat plays innocent. She gets beat up by a bunch of kids and stuff.
She gets stabbed in the head with like some kind of garden stake by a child.
Super exciting. It was just, it was a lot. It was a lot left that I didn't need there to be left.
There were really weird images that the cat had in his imagination with him and his owner, and I will leave those up to your imagination because I certainly don't want to talk about them.
I don't want to think about them. If there's any other scenes we forgot in this movie, that's because that's how bad they were. We don't even remember them.
Yeah, so the O scale.
Yeah, the O scale. We have to introduce you guys to the O scale. 1 to 5 O's, 5 being the worst movie you've ever seen, 1 being, could have been worse. Netflix, not bad. I would probably give it 4 O's just because I feel like there are, at least it had stars that I recognized, and at least...
That's good.
like people could deliver lines and stuff, and like the audio and the editing wasn't terrible and stuff. So like the movie was produced well, the just subject was awful. So I'm gonna give it 4 O's, and so we can leave it at 4.5 to divide between us. So 4.5 O's for movie 43. Let's one more time for our out. Netflix, no!
Thank you guys for watching.
If you disagree with our rating, if you've seen the movie, please let us know what you thought. I hope you hated it as much as we did.
Yeah, and if you have any suggestions for movies you want to see featured on this.
If you don't feel like watching, you've been meaning to get around to, you're pretty sure it's going to be bad anyway, we'll watch it for you and let you know.
So, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it.